In this video, we will discuss basic geometric figures. And what we're going to do is go over a bunch of different shapes that you will see in geometry. So starting with the most basic, we have a point. Now a point is going to look like this. All right. So a point has no size. What it does is it shows a specific point or location in space. It is represented by a dot. And some examples of this could be like pixels on a computer or television screen, where we have a bunch of different dots to make up your picture. When you're naming a point, we can use capital letters, as you see right here. We have point A and point B. Now from points, you can, from here, create other shapes. So from points, we now have lines, which a line is a bunch of points in a row. So here we have two pictures of a line. Okay, so with a line, it extends in two directions without ending. So it's key to take note that a line technically does not end. A line also has no thickness and is referred to by a single lowercase letter, such as line H. So right here, we can use a single lowercase letter. Or if you know 2 points on the line, like here we have A and B, we can write this line as line AB with the line symbol above it, or BA with the line symbol above it. As long as we have the 2 points that are on the line, it does not matter the order in which I write. Now with a line, we require 2 points to know where the line is going. Okay, so this is kind of a theorem with geometry where we need 2 points to determine where a line is going. So for example, if you have 1 point, with 1 point the line can go any direction, right? It can go through here, it can go through this way, and go through any direction through that point. So to know which way the line is going to go, we need a second point like this. Once we have the 2 points, we know for sure the line has to go like that. All right. So if we have 2 points like right here, there's only going to be one line that can go through that as well. It's like right here, we have one line going through that. There's no way to get a second line through here, through these 2 points. Okay, so that is a little theorem as we continue our discussion of different shapes. Next we have a line segment, which is a portion of a line. Here we see a picture. All right, so with the line segment will come to an end. It does not keep going forever, whereas a line does keep going forever. All right, so if it comes to an end with 2 endpoints like this is a line segment. And this particular line segment we can name as segment AC, where A and C are the endpoints. And the segment consists of those endpoints and then every point in between. So it's made up of a bunch of points connecting those 2 endpoints. Now instead of writing this out in English as segment AC, I could write this quicker using math notation, and I can write this as segment AC, where you have AC and then the segment symbol above it, or segment CA with the segment symbol above it. So it does not matter the order in which I write the letters, as long as we have the 2 endpoints. Now, before we move on, take note, the segment symbol is just a line segment above it, whereas a line would have a line symbol above it. So the key is, if you have arrows, that means it keeps going, which is going to be a line. If it does not have arrows, like this, that means it comes to an end, so that's going to be a line segment. All right, so do take note of the difference. The next shape we have is a ray. A ray has a specific starting point and goes forever in one direction. So think of the sun, for example. You have a sun ray. We even use that term sometimes. If this is your sun, okay, the light ray comes from the sun and goes like this in one direction. We can have multiple rays coming from the sun, but it's all starting here at one point and then going forever in one direction. So this is an idea of a ray. So this particular picture up here with the A and the C points on it, we can call this ray AC. So we name it based off the points that we see on the ray. Now do take note that this one does make a difference which point we put first. The first letter we write is going to be the endpoint. So this letter A is where it starts. That's what letter comes first when I write this. Now in math notation, we can write this with the letters A and C, and then put a ray symbol above it. So if you're having difficulty reading that symbol, all it is it's a ray on top of the letters A and C. So I think it's pretty intuitive that a ray with the notation has a ray written above it to show that it's a ray, whereas a segment has a segment symbol, a line has an actual line above it to show that it's a line. So the notation kind of makes sense. And again, make sure that the endpoint is named first. So the A was the endpoint. I write this as ray AC. Now this is not the same thing as ray CA. Ray CA would mean that you're starting at C over here and going this direction through A. That is not the same thing. Next term we have is the word plane. A plane you can think of as being a flat surface. So it could look something like this or like this when I draw this. So examples in real life could be maybe a floor or a wall or a tabletop. That is an example of a plane. Now, technically speaking, in geometry, a plane would not have an ending. So, in real life, a floor or a wall or a tabletop, all of these have an end. So if you want to get technical, those would not be true planes because they don't keep going forever. But for everyday purposes, we would consider that a plane because in real life there's really not anything that would go on forever like that. Now a plane also has no thickness. It would have no edges because it keeps going forever, so there's no endpoint, there's no edges. And when I name it, I'm going to name it with either a capital letter, like you see down here. So we see a capital H, or you can use the 3 points on the plane. So we need 3 points on a plane, whereas for a line, we needed 2 points. So we can label it with a capital letter or with 3 points on the plane. So up here, this top plane, we can write this as plane DEF. So we just pick 3 points on the plane and call it plane DEF. Or we can just assign a capital letter to it, like down here, and just call it plane H. So either way is fine depending on what information you are given. Next term is the word angles. An angle is a figure formed by 2 rays with a common endpoint. So for example, here we have one ray starting at A. If it has the same endpoint, meaning it starts here at A, this right here would now be 2 rays with the same endpoint, which would make an angle. So the 2 rays, so ray AB and ray AC, those are called the sides of the angle. And this shared endpoint right here has a specific term we give to it. The term is the word vertex. So that would be your vertex. So that's your vertex, and then this would be a side, and then this would be a side. Now when you name an angle, you're going to use the 3 different points that make up the angle. The order does make a little bit of a difference. We do need to make sure that whatever your vertex is the letter in the middle. So when I name this, for example, I can name this angle CAB, where we have all 3 letters, the C, A, and B, and the vertex, the letter A, is in the middle. So we have C, then A in the middle, and then B. And take note of the angle symbol in front as well. So angle CAB. And as we progress in future videos, when I write my angle symbol, many times I put this little I guess, arc inside of it. All right. So either way, that would be your angle symbol. We can also write this angle as angle BAC because A is still in the middle, which makes it okay. And then we have all three letters, the B, the A, and the C, all written here. So there are different ways you can name an angle as long as you have the vertex as your center point. Now with angles, there are different types of angles. An acute angle has a measure between 0 and 90 degrees. So for example, right here would be an acute angle. Whereas a right angle has exactly 90 degrees, which would look like this. So 90 degrees forms an L shape right here. And many times when we draw a right angle, we can use this little square in the corner to show that this is exactly 90 degrees. So notice this acute angle is smaller than 90 degrees. All right, this angle is smaller. And then next we have an obtuse angle, which is between 90 and 180 degrees. So it's bigger than a 90-degree angle, but it's not 180. So therefore, this would be obtuse. And then lastly, we have a straight angle, which has exactly 180 degrees, which would look like a line. So this picture right here would be a straight angle because it is straight and it makes a line. Now if you're struggling to remember the difference between an acute and obtuse angle, some ways you can remember is acute. If you think of a cute something, maybe a cute puppy or a cute kitten, okay, if it's cute, you can maybe think of something as being small. All right, so a cute puppy or a cute kitten. So a cute angle is a smaller angle. It's between 0 and 90. And then for obtuse, that sounds a lot like the word obese. And obese would be something that is very large. So an obtuse angle is a large angle, meaning it's bigger than 90 degrees. So in this video, we have covered many different shapes that you will see in geometry. And as you continue your study of geometry, you'll find there are many, many more shapes to include, but these are the basics. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.